Adobe Illustrator is a vector-based smooth line drawing program that's intended to suit the needs of graphic artists, UI designers, and web designers. Let's start things off by looking at the new and improved Illustrator CS4 interface. I have several documents open right now, all of which are appearing in a single window display, at the top of which you'll see a list of titles. Every one of these tabs with a title in it represents the name of an open document so that you can see all of your open documents at a glance. I can switch to a different open document just by clicking on its name. If you have so many documents open that they consume the entire width of your screen, as I do, then you can click on this double right-pointing arrowhead and choose a title in order to display that illustration. Currently, we're seeing a single window display. We can change that from the new application bar, which incidentally appears to the right of the menus under Windows. I'm going to go to this icon right here, which allows me to arrange my documents, and I'm going to choose 3 up in order to display 3 windows at a time. Notice that both of the right-hand windows each contain a single document. You can change that if you like by grabbing a tab from one of the other windows and dragging it and dropping it into place. You can also drag a window into the middle of things like this in order to create a free floating window if you like, and then move it back into a different location in order to fix it to the interface. If you want to restore all of the documents into a single window, go back up to this icon and choose Consolidate All. As in previous versions of Illustrator, you can also customize the panels. I'm going to go ahead and expand the panels, and I'm going to collapse a few of these groups right here by clicking to the right of the panel titles. Now, I don't have a lot of room on this screen, so I want to make as much room as possible for the Appearance and Layers panels. I'd also like to bring up a couple of other panels here, so I'll just go ahead and choose them from the list. And then I'll move them over by dragging from the top of the panel like so. This is a little different than it was in Illustrator CS3. Dragging that over and dropping it into place. And then I'll go ahead and collapse these panels as well down to single icons. And I might bring up a few other panels as well just to finish things off. Then I'll go ahead and save out my workspace. Saving workspaces has gotten more convenient than ever before. You just go up here to this word Essentials. That's what it looks like by default. Choose Save Workspace. Go ahead and give it a name. And then you're done. And you can come back to this workspace anytime you like. A quick note for those of you who are Macintosh users. You'll notice that the entire Illustrator interface fits inside something called an application frame, which ensures that Illustrator covers up all of the applications that are running in the background. If you don't want that, if you want to be able to see through Illustrator to other applications, as in the old days, you can turn the application frame off, like so, and you're going to end up with a series of cascading independent windows. You can consolidate all of those windows into a single tabbed window if you like by going up to the window menu and choosing Arrange, then Consolidate All Windows. And so this way you end up with kind of the best of both worlds. I'm going to go ahead and fit this window into the area between the toolbox and the panels by clicking on the Maximize button. And I can resize this window as I like and still gain access to the Finder and other applications in the background. In order to reinstate the application frame, just go up to the application frame command. Notice you can also hide and display the application bar, which is this area right here. Once again, all of that works strictly on the Mac. Arguably, the biggest new feature in Illustrator CS4 is multiple artboards, which allow you to combine multiple assets into a single document. For example, this illustration right here contains a total of 3 artboards, all of which can be printed to separate sheets of paper or exported as a multi-page PDF document. I'm going to go ahead and switch to this third artboard right here, the one that contains a couple of t-shirts, and I'm going to break each one of the t-shirts onto a separate artboard. Your artboards can be any size you want them to be, incidentally. So I'm going to switch over to this artboard tool. And I'm going to go ahead, with the help of my smart guides, which have been enhanced inside of Illustrator CS4, I'm going to scale this artboard to make it smaller so that it suits this single t-shirt atop. And notice now I have a horizontal artboard combined with a vertical artboard next door, which is perfectly acceptable. Now I'm going to Option drag or Alt drag on the PC in order to duplicate that artboard. and surround the second t-shirt. So I now have a 4 artboard document. I'll press the Escape key to switch back to the standard editing mode, and then I can go up to the File menu and choose the Save As command. And I can save this multi-page document to an Illustrator CS4 file, or I can save a multi-page PDF, each page of which respects the independently sized artboards. I'll go ahead and cancel out of there for now. Illustrator CS4 also offers a much improved gradient tool. Notice these waves in the background behind this dragon. They're all instances of a symbol here inside of the Symbols panel. I'm going to modify that symbol by double-clicking on any one of the instances in order to enter the symbol isolation mode, which has been enhanced, incidentally, in Illustrator CS4. I'm going to select this background wave, and I'm going to grab my gradient tool. Notice as soon as I do, I can see this bar that represents the trajectory of my gradient. I'm going to rotate it like so into a different position, so the gradient progresses at a different angle. And I can also move my gradient inside of the shape on the fly. But here's the best news. I can change the colors that are associated with the gradient. And I'm going to go ahead and assign red to the end of this gradient, and to the beginning of the gradient, I'm going to assign a vivid yellow in order to create this flame pattern right here. When I'm done, all I have to do to update all of my symbols is press the Escape key in order to leave the symbol isolation mode. And now notice how quickly and easily I was able to invoke that modification thanks to the improved gradient tool. We also have an enhanced appearance palette, which allows us to change fill, stroke, and dynamic effects from a single location. I'm going to go ahead and select the objects on this flame vent layer right here. Notice that I can change all of the gradients for each one of these objects using the gradient tool. But I'm going to switch back to the standard selection tool for a moment. See the appearance palette right here. Let's go ahead and collapse symbols so that we have a little more room. Notice it's telling me that for the most part we have mixed appearances because we have a variety of different fills going on. But none of the objects has a stroke. I'm going to go ahead and assign a stroke to these shapes just by clicking here inside of this swatch, and then click again to bring up the swatches panel. And I'll assign this swatch right here. And I'll go ahead and reduce the stroke weight to 0.5 point. So I don't have to bring up the stroke panel or the color panel or the swatches panel. They're all available to me as subpanels here inside the appearance panel. Now I'll expand this stroke, and I can see that I have an opacity setting as well. If I click there, I bring up the transparency panel, and I can switch to the color dodge mode. So no more digging through panels. It's all right there inside of the appearance panel. Quite convenient. The final thing I want to show you is how easily you can recolor artwork. I'm going to go ahead and select the contents of this evil worm layer right there. And let's say I want to recolor those objects using one of my color groups right here. Specifically, I think I'm going to use neutral blue. In order to do this, I'll go ahead and click on Recolor Artwork inside of the Control panel. And notice that I can see each one of my color groups here in this list. And I can switch to any color group I like and preview the effects of that color group on my artwork in the document window. As I say, I'll try neutral blue. And I can just drag these items now. I can drag these colors inside of this list in order to switch them to different locations. Or I can drag the colors up and down the right side here of the current colors list inside of the Assign mode. Once I've finished, I click OK, and the job is done. Illustrator CS4 is about getting better work done more quickly. This is a program that places high value on your time.